Young and the Restless spoilers. Will Ray ruin his marriage to Sharon with suspicions? Young and the Restless spoilers hint Ray Rosales, Jordi Villasuso, and Sharon Newman, Sharon case, may split, and it might be his fault.
Why?
He may destroy their marriage with his suspicions. This could change everything on the CBS soap opera. For now, Ray's back in Genoa City and already giving his wife the side eye. So, what's next? Young and the Restless spoilers. Will Ray Rosales push Sharon Newman away? Ray Rosales recently returned after escorting Chelsea Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, to see her mother. Ray was away from Sharon Newman for a couple of weeks. And his arrival home was not met with much fanfare. Then, Ray wasn't back in town for a whole 5 minutes before he began questioning his wife Sharon's actions while he was away. On Young and the Restless, Sharon Newman innocently mentioned to Connor Newman, Judah Mackey, that his father missed him during his absence. And Ray Rosales immediately latched onto that tidbit. He glares and wanted to know if she'd been seeing Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, while he was gone. Of course, Sharon vowed to avoid Adam. That was after the couple returned from a second honeymoon on Young and the Restless. Yet Ray can't let go of his jealousy, and this may cause problems in their marriage. Many viewers commented on the lack of spark with them lately. So, they seems to be struggling with trust and chemistry. Things look bleak for them if Ray Rosales can't move beyond these issues with Sharon. YNR source predicts Shaddam reunion by fall. Will her hubby make it happen? An insider who works at CBS Daytime says the powers that be at Young and the Restless plan to pair Adam with Sharon Newman, and it'll happen by Halloween just as November Sweeps launches. There's enough time in the storyline between now and then for Ray's insecurities to eat at him. And he may walk out on Sharon. Remember, on Young and the Restless, Ray's first wife cheated on him with his brother. So he is hypervigilant about these issues. However, Sharon Newman says she's committed to her husband. But to be fair, Ray Rosales' worries aren't without merit. While Sharon's not acting on her impulses, she's been making eyes at Adam constantly. Still, if Ray continues to question Sharon's every move, it will be a challenge for the marriage to survive. And if Sharon Newman's single because Ray Rosales ends their marriage, then there are no obstacles to her being with Adam. Young and the Restless updates hint that Adam's road to redemption was designed for them to reunite. Neither could be blamed for finding solace in each other's arms on Young and the Restless. Chelsea framed Adam after imagining an affair that did not exist. He was an innocent victim of the crazed con woman. Sharon Newman also has not crossed the line in her union with Ray. So, if things fall apart, the blame will fall solely on Ray Rosales as far as others see it. Young and the Restless spoilers. Will Ray turn to Chelsea after Sharon moves on? If Sharon Newman does get back with Adam, what will happen with Ray Rosales? Could the handsome detective leave GC? Surely they can't get rid of the only cop in town. However, Young and the Restless fans noticed a possible spark between Chelsea and Ray. Could there be a romance brewing for this unlikely pair? It would be strange for Ray Rosales to romance the woman that poisoned him, but stranger things have happened on YNR. If Shaddam happens, both Ray and Chelsea would feel burned by their exes and could turn to each other for support. While Chelsea was hospitalized, Ray visited often. Strangely, he forgave Chelsea for her plot against him. So, he's got a soft spot for the schemer. For now, Missy Egan has one more plot in targeting Adam, then she's taking a maternity leave that'll last a couple of months before she returns to filming. That gives her a roughly 3-month gap in on-air scenes after we last see her on YNR. That could bring her back not long after Ray Rosales' marriage to Sharon Newman implodes, if the hinted reunion of his wife with her ex happens. Keeping watching the CBS soap to see if Ray tears apart his marriage to Sharon with accusations. And there could be a major couple swap on YNR. So, stay tuned. Soap Dirt is the place for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. Will Ray ruin his marriage to Sharon with his suspicions? A high-engagement deep dive into the Young and the Restless spoilers. Genoa City is once again on the brink of an emotional earthquake, and the epicenter is the marriage of Sharon Newman and Ray Rosales. Fans of the Young and the Restless are reeling from recent spoilers that hint at the total implosion of she, not due to any outward betrayal, but from the insidious corrosion of one man's deep-seated insecurity. Ray Rosales, the earnest detective who promised Sharon stability and unwavering support, appears to be on a path of self-sabotage, threatening to destroy the beautiful life they've built through relentless and toxic suspicion. This is the shocking news that has the YNR fandom buzzing. Ray's jealousy over Adam Newman is not just a passing annoyance, it's a wrecking ball aimed directly at his marriage. The inevitable crisis. History repeats itself. Let's be honest, the she relationship has always been perched precariously on the edge of the notorious Shaddam chasm. Sharon Newman's, Sharon case, inexplicable gravitational pull toward Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, a man who represents chaos, danger, and a deeply troubled past, has been the unshakable third party in their marriage from day one. Ray, Jordi Villasuso, came into Sharon's life as the antidote to that toxicity, a good, honest, stable man who offered the peace she desperately needed. But the soap opera gods, and indeed the show's writers, rarely allow for true, lasting peace in Genoa City, especially for Sharon. While she has made verbal commitments to her husband and tried to set boundaries with Adam, her instinct to rush to Adam's aid, to serve as his confidant and therapist, has always been a painful thorn in Ray's side. The most recent, shocking spoilers reveal a major shift in the dynamic. It's no longer Sharon teetering toward Adam that's the primary threat. It is Ray's reaction to her completely understandable, if perpetually complicated, connection to her ex that is poised to become the lethal blow. Ray's past trauma, specifically his first wife, Mia, cheating on him with his brother, Arturo, has created an emotional wound that Adam's presence constantly agitates. He is now hypervigilant, seeing red flags where there may only be shadows, and his escalating paranoia is about to push Sharon away for good. The return that ignited the flame of doubt. The latest drama began subtly. Ray returned from a short trip away, perhaps escorting Chelsea Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, to visit her mother, and almost immediately, his guard was up. Sharon made a completely innocent comment to Connor Newman about his father missing him, and that was all the ammunition Ray needed. In a scene that left viewers aghast, Ray's glare hardened. He pressed Sharon, demanding to know if she'd been secretly meeting with Adam while he was gone. This wasn't an isolated incident, it was the first volley in a campaign of suspicion. He can't let go of his jealousy. He questions her movements, scrutinizes her texts, and casts doubt on her innocent efforts to co-parent with Adam for the sake of Connor and Faith. The irony is brutal. Sharon, who genuinely wants her marriage to work and has, by all accounts, held the line against Shaddam temptations, is being punished for the mere existence of her ex in their orbit. This is the shocking reality. Ray is doing the heavy lifting for the Shaddam reunion by effectively ending his own marriage. He is pushing Sharon right into the arms of the man he fears the most. The ultimate push. Toxic accusations and broken trust. The trajectory is terrifyingly clear. Ray's trust issues are evolving from private worries into toxic, spoken accusations. A relationship built on mutual respect and stability cannot survive relentless doubt. Sharon, a woman who has endured countless traumas in her life, cancer, kidnapping, mental health struggles, and countless failed relationships, needs a partner, not a warden. When Ray's suspicions culminate in a major confrontation, perhaps accusing her of a clandestine meeting or a phone call that was simply about Connor or Faith, Sharon's patience will finally break. She will realize that no matter how loyal she is, no matter how committed she is to him, she will never be able to truly extinguish the spark of doubt in Ray's mind. His insecurity is a deep, unhealing wound, and she cannot be his therapist or his constant proof of fidelity. This inevitable breakdown will be heartbreaking because, unlike many soap opera splits, the blame rests squarely on the shoulders of the good guy. Ray, the honorable detective, will be the architect of his own misfortune. His past with Mia will have ultimately ruined his future with Sharon. The consequences: a Shaddam reunion and a Ray/Chelsea twist? The spoilers are already hinting at the tragic fallout. If Ray's suspicions lead to a separation or divorce, and all signs point to that being a very real possibility during the upcoming sweeps period, the path is cleared for the highly anticipated Shaddam reunion. The narrative has long been setting the stage. Adam's attempts at redemption, his softening edges, and his continued deep-seated dependence on Sharon are all threads waiting to be woven back together. Sharon, wounded and pushed away by Ray's lack of trust, will find solace in the one person who understands her darkness and complexity, Adam. They will be two lost souls finding comfort in their familiar, dysfunctional dynamic. And what about the now single Ray? The show often orchestrates a major couple swap, and the pieces are already in place for a bizarre, yet compelling, twist. Ray spent time with Chelsea during her recovery and subsequent framing of Adam for poisoning him. Strangely, he developed a soft spot for the schemer, even forgiving her shocking actions. Could a relationship form between the detective who was burned by his honest wife's inability to quit her ex, and the woman who was also burned by that same man? A Ray/Chelsea pairing, united by their shared history of being victims of Shadam's pull, is an electrifying possibility. The fans speak, a divided and engaged fandom. The shocking news has set the fandom ablaze. Social media is a battleground of She loyalists mourning the end of stability and Shadam enthusiasts celebrating the long-awaited return of the epic couple. Ray needs to get over Adam. Sharon chose him. This is Ray's fault. He's letting his first marriage ruin his second. A frustrated She supporter. Finally. Ray was too boring anyway. Sharon belongs with Adam. The drama is back. The heartbreak is needed for this reunion to happen. A triumphant Shadam fan. If Ray ruins this marriage over Adam when Sharon hasn't even cheated, it will be the most frustrating self-fulfilling prophecy in YNR history. A disheartened viewer. The bottom line is clear. The dramatic, high-stakes trajectory of Sharon and Ray's marriage is today's most shocking news in Genoa City. Ray Rosales is standing on the precipice, and with one more suspicion-fueled push, he will send his entire marriage tumbling into the abyss, paving the way for a shocking new chapter in the lives of Sharon, Adam, and possibly even Chelsea. Fans should brace themselves for an emotional and unforgettable ride as the consequences of Ray's deep-seated insecurity explode across our screens. Will Ray choose to save his marriage, or will his own demons finally ruin him? Stay tuned, because the sparks are about to fly. Early weekly spoilers. Mariah Copeland's search kicks off. Sharon begs for help. Young and the Restless early spoilers recall Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, has not been seen for weeks, but at last the search for her kicks off the week of August 9th to 13th. Her mother, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, asks Ray Rosales, Jordi Villasuso, to find her missing daughter. Mariah's family and friends are increasingly worried about her well-being on the CBS soap opera. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Sharon asks Ray to find missing Mariah Copeland. Mariah Copeland's disappearance finally gets the attention it deserves on YNR. Supposedly, Mariah left town weeks ago on a business trip. Then, Mariah Copeland seemed to send a series of texts that say she wouldn't come home anytime soon. They also say Mariah needs time to herself on Young and the Restless. However, once Mariah misses an important prenatal appointment, finally the red flag is raised. Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, felt something was off about Mariah Copeland for quite some time. So, Tessa goes to Sharon with her concerns about Mariah. However, others are starting to agree with the worried singer about Mariah. Per Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon asks her hubby to search for her daughter, since Mariah's texts indicate that she is staying away of her own accord. So, Ray can't open an official police investigation. But, he can't turn down the request to locate his stepdaughter Mariah Copeland. Several people may have kidnapped Mariah. But Dr. Ben Stitch Rayburn, Sean Carrigan, is the top suspect. So, Ray Rosales and the good doctor should cross paths soon, hint Young and the Restless spoilers. Crafty Stick may offer help to keep the heat off him since he's been spying and lying. And Tessa is the only one who suspects Ben. If she shares her concerns, Ray may question Abby Newman's, Melissa Ordway, ex. But for now, the soap's keeping fans in the dark about who took Mariah. Victor Newman sets Ashland Locke straight. YNR Week ahead spoilers. Young and the Restless updates show Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, returns to Genoa City with exciting news. Her first stop is to tell her parents she plans to marry her boyfriend. This week, Ashland Locke, Richard Berge, proposed while they were in NYC. Victoria accepted, and plans are underway for a quick wedding. However, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, wants a serious chat with his soon-to-be son-in-law on Young and the Restless. He questions Ash's intentions. Not only is Ashland several years older than Victoria, but he's also dying of cancer. So, Victor will warn that if Victoria is hurt in any way, there will be hell to pay. Keep watching the CBS Sudzer as Victoria shares her happy news as Victor plays protective father. Young and the Restless spoilers next week. Amanda tells Naya like it is. Naya Benedict, Tosha Story, will do whatever it takes to protect her father. But Sutton Ames, Jack Landron, is most concerned with keeping his political career alive. So, he's willing to let his daughter take the blame for a crime he committed. However, Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan, would not give up until she learned the truth. Now that she knows that Sutton planned her father's death, she wants revenge against her grandfather. But first, she needs to set her mother straight. She will not allow Nia to take the fall for Sutton. Young and the Restless spoilers hint Amanda has a serious discussion with her mother. She tells Nia it's time for Sutton to pay for his actions. And the pretty lawyer is just the person to seek revenge for Richard's death. Amanda's life would have been much different if her father found her before his death. Since he was taken away so young, she is angry. So she convinces her mother to tell the truth. Then she focuses her wrath on Sutton next week on Young and the Restless. Watch as Ray decides to help find Mariah Copeland the week of August 9th to 13th on Young and the Restless early weekly spoilers. Mariah Copeland's search kicks off. Sharon Rosales begs for help. The breaking point. Genoa City plunges into darkness. The week ahead on The Young and the Restless is poised to deliver a catastrophic emotional blow that Genoa City will feel for years to come. In a storyline that masterfully weaves together years of trauma, mental health struggles, and the ever-present shadow of a sinister villain, Mariah Copeland's, Cameron Grimes' disappearance has transformed into a full-scale missing persons investigation, pushing her mother, Sharon Rosales' Sharon case, to the brink of a complete emotional breakdown. This isn't a mere temporary exit or a planned trip. The early spoilers confirm a terrifying search operation is now in full swing, suggesting the worst-case scenario might already be reality. For weeks, viewers have watched Mariah struggle with a profound mental health crisis, haunted by the return of her adoptive father, cult leader Ian Ward, Ray Wise, in her hallucinations. The trauma inflicted by Ian, the original cult experience, the forced surrogacy, and now, the admission that she nearly killed a man, Will Hensley, to exorcise her demons, has left Mariah shattered. Her decision to check into a mental health clinic in Boston was meant to be a step toward healing. Instead, the upcoming week reveals a chilling new twist. Mariah has vanished from the facility. The fading trail, a search kicks off. The first hint of trouble comes not from a missed call, but from the clinic itself. The spoilers indicate a frantic call reaching Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, Mariah's wife, informing her that Mariah left the grounds late one night and has not returned. This news immediately triggers panic, but it is Sharon, already in Los Angeles struggling to be by the bedside of her critically injured son, Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, who receives the news that sends her world spiraling into chaos. Sharon, the matriarch who has endured more tragedy than any other resident of Genoa City, finds herself split between two children in crisis, separated by a continent. The internal conflict is agonizing. Does she stay with Noah, whose life hangs in the balance, or does she abandon him to search for Mariah, who is both mentally vulnerable and potentially in danger? The early weekly spoilers lay bare the tragic choice. Sharon Rosales begs for help, not just for her daughter, but for herself. Trapped in L.A., she calls on Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, the two men she trusts most in a crisis, to drop everything and mobilize the search in Boston. Nick, ever the protective father, is torn. He's already supporting Sharon through Noah's ordeal, but the thought of another child, his daughter, in danger is too much. He is expected to fly to Boston almost immediately, plunging into the gritty reality of a missing persons case that smells suspiciously like the dark forces of Mariah's past. The shadow of Ian Ward. Was it a relapse or a kidnapping? The core question driving the initial search is, did Mariah relapse and run, or was she taken? Mariah's recent confession to Tessa about suffocating Will Hensley, and her subsequent haunting hallucinations of Ian Ward, suggest a profound break from reality. The theory that Mariah, convinced by her own mind that she is a danger to her family, may have run away to protect them is a heartbreakingly plausible scenario. This would be a self-inflicted exile fueled by guilt and paranoia. However, the more sensational and very YNR theory involves the literal return of her tormentor. Despite his supposed death, Ian Ward has a long history of manipulating events from the grave. The latest search results and recent episodes confirm that Mariah has been intensely hallucinating Ian Ward, who goads her about their shared connection to darkness. Could the sudden disappearance be a ruse? Did Ian somehow stage his own return, or, more terrifyingly, is a new accomplice carrying out his old playbook? The spoilers hint that the search efforts quickly lead Nick and Chance to investigate the man Mariah assaulted, Will Hensley. They must determine if Hensley, who Mariah believed was a proxy for Ian, is now seeking revenge or is somehow involved. A massive clue lies in the cryptic note left behind. A single playing card, a Queen of Hearts, a symbol linked to the cult leader Ian Ward used years ago to manipulate Mariah's mother. This single terrifying detail suggests that this is no mere mental health flight. It is a meticulously planned, sinister abduction, possibly orchestrated by one of Ian's old loyalists or even a new villain with a chilling connection to Mariah's trauma. Tessa's desperation and Daniel's confession. Back in Genoa City, Tessa is a wreck. The search results show that she and Daniel Romolotti, Michael Graziade, have grown alarmingly close during Mariah's absence, even sharing a kiss and an emotional confession of love. Now, with Mariah missing, Tessa's guilt is overwhelming. She feels her growing feelings for Daniel somehow pushed Mariah over the edge. Her desperate efforts to assist Nick and Chance are fueled by a need to atone for her emotional betrayal. Daniel, meanwhile, faces a terrible moral dilemma. He cares deeply for Tessa but sees how utterly consumed she is by her commitment to Mariah. Should he stay silent and be her rock during the search, or should he confess his feelings to Mariah's friends and family? The tension between Tessa and Daniel will be a raw subplot this week, adding a layer of soap opera melodrama to the main crisis. Their emotional entanglement further isolates Mariah, whether she is truly missing or watching from the shadows. Sharon's plea, the cost of motherhood. The heart of the week's drama rests on Sharon. The early glimpses of her scenes are gut-wrenching. Alone in the hospital, Nick steps away to make arrangements, and Sharon, her voice raw, is shown kneeling by Noah's bed. She's not just praying for him, she is openly begging for help from a higher power, from Nick, from Victor, from anyone who will listen. "I cannot lose another child," she cries, reliving the horrific memories of losing her first daughter, Cassie Newman. Sharon's plea is a direct callback to the audience's deep investment in her character. She has always been the tragic heroine, the one whose stability is constantly threatened by external forces. This latest crisis, with one child comatose and the other missing, both connected to her dark past, is the ultimate test of her strength. Her request to Nick and Chance for an all-out search is not a suggestion. It is a frantic, tearful demand, setting the stage for the intense, city-wide operation that will dominate the coming episodes. Conclusion: a week of unbearable suspense. The upcoming week of The Young and the Restless is a masterclass in escalating soap opera suspense. The storyline is designed to pull viewers back to the iconic kidnapping plots of the past, leveraging the deeply emotional connection between Sharon and Mariah. The question of whether Mariah is a runaway victim of her own mind or a captive of a familiar, dark force will keep viewers glued to their screens. With Nick and Chance leading the charge, and the terrifying Queen of Hearts card as a single, chilling clue, Genoa City is bracing for a revelation that promises to be nothing short of shocking.